I'm going to try to be good. Yes, I'm going to try to be good. That will tell you everything about where I actually am and where I'm trying to go. Oh man, I'm trying to be good. I just got done listening to some discussions. There's a guy named Travis Anderson. He makes really good YouTube videos. He's a Latter-day Saint, and he has a channel called Missionary Discussions. It's super good, and he has honest conversations with people, mostly non-Latter-day Saints, about the church. And he's recently gotten onto TikTok, and anyway, it's really entertaining. It's just really crazy the things that people. Something I've noticed is that a lot of times when talking about faith, people get triggered. Talking about religion, people get triggered, and they have false presuppositions, and those false presuppositions get debunked. They don't like that because it causes a level of uncertainty within themselves. And when that happens, they get really, really angry. Like this guy was a full-grown man talking to Travis and the other guys, the other Latter-day Saints. And he was accusing the Latter-day Saints of this and that and all this stuff, back and forth, accusing them of this, calling them this, jabbing with this insult, everything, and said, you guys just manipulate people and trick them into believing your false ideology or whatever. He didn't even phrase it that well. That's the gist of what he was saying. And then when they debunked something that he said and they asked him, because he made a snide remark, and he said...
Yeah, that's something that we have to realize. The Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints that they hate is not the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints that we believe in. So it's two different... I call it the pair of ducks paradox. It's where you have two ducks on a pond, and you're looking at the center of the lake, and the lake appears completely different to one duck versus the other duck. Titus 1:15, unto the pure all things are pure, but to the impure all things are impure. So one duck is pure when the other duck is wicked. The wicked duck basically projects his wickedness into the lake, and then the other duck projects his innocence into the lake. But also, they're looking at different angles. So if you see, one person might see a 9 and the other person might see a 6, where it's like, they're both right in a lot of ways, and they're both wrong, maybe. It might be both, or it might be one or the other. One of them's wrong, but at the same time, they're both kind of right. So that's why it's kind of a paradox.
I wish you...
And when people hate the church, it's like they see something that we don't see, and we experience something they don't experience, you know. If you look at, for example, Hinduism, Hinduism might exist for us as words on a screen or words on a page or word of mouth, and that's it. Whereas an actual Hindu might be living and experiencing Hinduism, and they have a completely different angle on that lake.
I wish I could hire you guys for a used car salesman, because he was basically claiming that they're peddling lies, that the Latter-day Saints, Travis, etc., were peddling lies, which they definitely weren't. And the LDS collective as a whole does not peddle lies. It's actually the exact opposite of lies, despite the many claims of anti-Mormons. And they were asking him to clarify his point, and he refused. He just wouldn't. And then he got really upset and emotional, and then tried to go for them so hard.
Yeah, sometimes when people, they have their perspective and they think they're right, and then when we share our perspective, it sounds like lies because it's the exact opposite of what they believe, or it's a different side of the lake, or whatever. So it just sounds like that to them.
This is why you guys don't have more members, because all you're doing is fixating on what I said, and you're just going back and forth.
And then for us, their perspective might sound like lies, or it just sounds like their perspective, you know.
Won't even talk about what led you to Christ. He's going off and everything's, and I have a doctorate in psychology. And for the world to see, he did not do a very good job of showing the world that he's a coherent guy.
No wonder why he's angry. He has a doctorate in psychology.
His integrity, who was honest.
That'll make anyone angry.
Just literally.
It's like
showed.
Not worth it. It's just overpriced. You know, like 40 years ago, you know, at least you didn't have to pay money for it.
Basically made a fool of himself.
It was only like $1,000 to go to school. I'd be pissed too. He probably still has student loan debt, you know.
And that
just praying for inflation or something.
Sad. But
no wonder why he's mad.
I just want to point out that a lot of times when people don't have good arguments, they just throw attacks around. They don't use facts, they use attacks. And that's what this guy and many, many, many anti-Mormons do on a repeated basis. They do it all the time.
This is a great video.
Anyway, just want to make this little video, share that, put that information out there.
It's over already.
Just having a really interesting
Oh no, we got a couple more minutes.
So, yeah, thanks for watching, you guys. Anyway, this is my short video. Might be able to make a little bit more. I'll have to stop this video at any given second because I'm door dashing, and depending on if I get an order, I'll stop it. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to I just wanted to talk about this, and I think I did a pretty good job. I'm not trying to make anybody look bad here. I'm just trying to be truthful and share truths. But the church is misrepresented massively, massively, massively. And the people who talk about the church and say negative things about the church, most of the time, I'd say, haven't even been to church, to one of our church services, and a lot of the things that they claim are not true. And it's really sad when people just spit venom. There's no reason to do that. It's always a bad strategy to try to tear things down. You know, it's always a bad strategy.
I tell this story a lot, but the first time I told my, you could argue he's my best friend, my most intimate friend. He was, I just casually told him I was Mormon. This was after 5 years of being his friend and stuff. And he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. I was like, okay, what is it? You know, and I'm thinking Mark of Cain, polygamy, you know, different Jesus, different gospel. You know, what's it going to be, you know? And he goes, whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't you guys believe that Joseph Smith was the second coming of God and you worship Joseph Smith as the Messiah? And I was like, what? No. He goes, oh. And he knew absolutely nothing. And he goes, And I was like, yeah.
Anyway, just want to make this little video.
But, like, that's what's out there. And he's a smart guy. You know, he's a professional poker player. He's up over $100,000 lifetime.
Share a few.
Half Indian. He's just smart. He thought, he's very naive. Like, he thought 80% of Christians were virgins. This was 2 years ago when he was 31. And to be fair to him, I kind of thought the same thing.
The Church of Jesus.
Maybe not that level, but like, yeah.
Latter-day Saints is true. I testify that it's true. It's God's true church on the earth. The Book of Mormon is scripture, just like the Bible. I testify that that's true. And if you are unsure or disagree or have contrary feelings to that, feel free to read the Book of Mormon and pray to God and ask Him.
How many times have you read the Book of Mormon?
There are so many assertions about what the truth actually is. And until you try to find out what the truth actually is,
that's my question.
You're just not going to... you're not going to have as much of it in your life, because it's really easy to believe talking heads. It's really easy to believe regurgitate just repeated things that people say. It's easy to believe things you hear over and over again, but just because somebody's saying something doesn't mean it's true. So find out for yourself if it's true. Read it, pray about it, talk to the missionaries.
Yeah,
but be nice. That's the other thing.
I remember I was going through a lot of stuff, and my brother's girlfriend, of all people, Mariah, she's whatever, quarter agnostic or something, half agnostics, you know, full agnostic, and just weird. When I evangelize on the street, and it's like I'll go to In-N-Out Burger, and then it's like, you know, the guy's like, oh, I'm nothing, you know, I'm atheist, you know, I don't believe, and I'm not religious, you know, and I only have a few seconds with him, and I'm probably never gonna see him again, so I was just like, hey man, you're getting too old for this. That's what I say. Man, you're getting too old for this. You know, you gotta pick a religion, man. You know, some good religions out there. You know, don't be stupid. You know, okay. And they can't really say anything because they're working. But anyway, this girl was like, I was going through a lot. I was like, lost my testimony or something, and I was going through a lot of like internet stuff, and she's like, you know, if you want to find out about the church, go to them. And I was like, what? And it was like so wise and awesome, coming from like a girl.
People are so mean to the missionaries.
And she was right, so that's why I brought it up. You gotta pull the gold from the, what do they call it? The gold from the garbage?
And it's like, these are just normal, everyday people.
Normally, I don't like agnostics, and no offense, but girls. I don't like.
Spent their own money.
I'm trying not to be a misogynist, sexist, male chauvinist anymore, but it's kind of hard to resist. Holding on to it playfully, that's what pretty much all guys do, which is fine, but I don't really like women when it comes to like smart stuff and smarts.
And are doing...
They're just kind of,
a very honest service, and people just want to bash them. It's ridiculous. Have some humanity. Have some decency. I gotta go. Got a DoorDash order. It's probably not that good. Be nice to the missionaries.
Well, I think you're underestimating how fun it is from their perspective. You know, there were some guys who fought some wars so we could bash other religions. From their perspective, if the church isn't true, it's bash worthy. But anyways, great video. You need to make more videos, please. Oh, not need. Sorry, I don't want to say that. I would like it if you would make more videos. You don't need to do anything. So, okay, great video.